Live with CDP Sports Talk, a weekly sports and entertainment podcast sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet. Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and LinkedIn. And on audio via Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, Anchor FM, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Radio Public, and TuneIn. Now, here's your host, Chris Palme.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to season episode 36, overall 586 of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership, located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Check out their website, barrycullen.com, for the newest selection of new and pre-owned GM vehicles, along with their great selection of all-electric vehicles and Cadillac vehicles as well. You can call the dealership at 519-824-0210. Tell them Chris Palme sent you, or you can email them at info@barrycullen.com. Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been a proud sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show for the past 3 years, and Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership has been family-run and operated here in the city of Guelph since 1969. I hope everyone's doing well on this Thursday, September 4th, 2025. And yes, as you can see in my background and where I'm wearing tonight, the defending world champion Philadelphia Eagles raised their second banner tonight at the Linc against those hated Dallas Cowboys at 8:20 tonight, and everybody's pumped up for this game, including myself. And I have a special guest today. I met her through a comedian guest of mine about a year ago, Chica Local, and her name is Leah Cochran, and she is a long life super fan of the Philadelphia Eagles, and we're going to bring Leah on and talk about the Eagles, some of her favorite moments, and maybe how she got into being a Philadelphia Eagles fan as well. Before we bring Leah on here, I've just got two quick announcements to make. First of all, my guest on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show for tomorrow night, Friday, September 5th at 9 o'clock with Michelle Finnegan. She had to cancel due to a scheduling conflict, so we're going to reschedule with Michelle Finnegan. The Argo Bounce podcast show with Nick Small and Chris Palme will take its place at a Friday clock at 8 o'clock, as Nick and I will talk about the Argos' big 35-33 win over Hamilton, and we'll talk a little bit about the quarterback situation with the Argonauts and preview their upcoming game against Edmonton as well. So Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show will be postponed tomorrow night for the Argo Bounce podcast show at 8 o'clock with Nick Small and myself. And also, I will be on a radio station on Thursday, September 18th. Thursday, September 18th, 9:15 a.m. Eastern. I will be on the Mix 98.5 FM, and I'll be talking a little bit about my career change into radio and media with the station, as well as my volunteer work as a speaker with the Business Education Partnership of Waterloo Region. And we're going to bring on our guest today. Her name is Leah Cochran, and we're going to talk Eagles. Good evening, Leah. How are you?
Hey, good evening. Good evening. How are you?
I am doing well, and I'm really getting excited about this. You know what? The summer has just flown by, and it's hard to believe it's already September 4th.
Yes, listen, you couldn't end the summer any better, and I like warm weather, but I'm a fall girl, not just for football, but just I want to stop sweating.
To be honest with you, my favorite seasons of the year are fall and winter. I find the summers here, and maybe you can feel the same way in your area, I find they're getting too hot and too humid, and I just kind of like the cooler temperatures.
Yeah, we're very humid like down here too, and that's the humidity. I've been to places that were super hot, like Nevada, and I could find that I could take it a little bit better because it wasn't as humid, like that sticky thing.
It's the humidity. Yeah, it's the humidity. We must have had 2 months of straight 90 to 95 degree temperatures, and it's just the humidity. It's just too much, but it's a lot better now for football weather. And speaking of football, we got you on to talk Philadelphia Eagles. Tell our audience the jersey you're wearing tonight.
This is, if you don't know, then you're not an ultimate Philly fan. This is the famous Jason Kelsey. He is the I think he's rated like the top three if you were to ask anybody of one of the greatest players in Philadelphia, and he's just loyal. He's now retired. We were sad about that. His wife also has a Philly podcast. She's a Philly native. She's awesome. Shout out to Kylie Kelsey. She's like my spirit animal. And he was our center, and we miss him. But you know what? He's retired, and he deserved it. So.
What are your thoughts on Cam Jordan? I think he's done a terrific job following his footsteps as the Eagles center on the line.
I agree, because he was there to help, mold him and get him going. And I think that he's going to carry on that tradition very well. I'm totally with Cam. Cam's got my vote, definitely.
For everyone that's watching our show on live stream, if you have a comment for Leah or myself about the Philadelphia Eagles, the game tonight against Dallas, or the NFL, please type the comments in the comments section as well. And I have a viewer watching from California who's going to be on my show on September 26th. His name is Edward Hearn. He is a motorcycling guy, and he's also works in the aviation for airplanes. So I'm going to have him on. So Edward, thank you for watching, and everybody for watching tonight. If you got comments about the Eagles Cowboys, let's hear your comments as well. But Leah, I wanted to get you to tell my audience just a little bit about yourself.
So obviously my name is Leah Cochran. I am to you guys up in Canada. I'm a little bit south of you guys. I'm in a little state called Delaware. If you don't know where that's at, it's right between Pennsylvania and Maryland as well. So we're in that what we call the tri-state area. Love living here because you're right in the middle of all the action. You can drive to Pennsylvania/Philadelphia. It's basically our backyard. You got Maryland, you got the beaches, you got just everywhere around here to drive to, and we don't have to pay taxes. So that's the allure. Been here my whole entire life. We're such a small state. We don't have a football team. So naturally, Philly is about 30 miles from us, maybe a 32-minute, 35-minute drive in bad traffic. So if you grew up around here, most likely Philadelphia Eagles are your team, and that's how it was for me and my family. Grew up Eagles fan because my earliest memories are sitting on the couch next to my father on a Sunday, where most girls are in the kitchen with their mom. I'm on the couch with my dad while he's watching, football with a beer in his hand. So those were my happy moments growing up. So I perpetuated that tradition. My son was in Eagles onesies. He's now 19, and he played football from the age 5 until high school, and he can tell you anything. He's a super Eagles fan. So so that's pretty much about me.
What makes Delaware such a special state, and why do you love calling it home?
So, well, obviously, because I grew up here, it's small, and sometimes that can be the frustrating part, and we do kind of, complain about that when we live here. However, that also gives you a small town feel, but not being a town, it's a state. And like I said, I love the fact that, even though it's frustrating and small, you kind of know someone who knows someone everywhere you go. Weekend, it's a hop, skip, and a jump. I mean, New York is about a 2-hour drive from here. New Jersey is literally, I could throw a rock out my window at New Jersey. Maryland, I could probably walk to from here. So, even if you get tired of Delaware, you got all the great states that you can go and have a good time. You can go to the country. You can go hiking in a mountain. And then, last weekend I was at a barbecue in Philadelphia. So, that's the great thing.
What's a fun fact? What's one fun fact about Delaware that people might not know about Delaware?
That might not know?
Yes.
Well, I think a lot of people realize us as the smallest state. And then they also realize us because we're the no taxes. They'll come down here and they'll buy things and they're like, wait a minute, it was really the price that he said it was? And I'm like, yeah, it was. Um, what about Delaware? We actually used to be connected to, I want to say Pennsylvania. I think we were all together, like historically, I think we were all connected and then we separated, which equated to Separation Day, which is something that goes on down here in Newcastle. It's a little tiny, tiny town. So they celebrate that. I want to say that's what I'm remembering. So now, mind you, I'm not a history buff. So if anybody looks this up, sorry.
Well, when I was coming across the border, I always would like to come to Pennsylvania because I really like the mountains in that area, in the Pennsylvania area. I also like to shop, so I always liked the fact there was no tax on clothing in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. I love it. I literally, like I said, I just went to a barbecue this past weekend, for Labor Day weekend to Philadelphia. And I get up there as much as possible, especially for the games and, the whole sports complex, tailgating and events. And I just love going up there. And I just don't know if, that, the prices and the busyness all the time is something I want to do, you know.
I'm going to tell you how I became an Eagles fan here in Canada. It was from the 1980 NFC Championship game. I was 8 years old at the time. I was only eight, so not knee high back then. And
Right.
I just started watching the Eagles play and Veterans Stadium, and I grew up and I couldn't stand the Dallas Cowboys. And that day, the Eagles kicked the Cowboys' ass to go to their first Super Bowl. I really thought the Eagles were going to win their first Super Bowl that year, but unfortunately, they had a bad game against the Oakland Raiders. But that NFC Championship game was the reason why I became an Eagles fan, and also Vince Papale too. His story kind of inspired me. I've actually talked to Vince. I'm trying to get him on my show, and it's just the passion that the Eagle fans have for their team, the passion, the love, and the ups and downs. And it's just, I can relate to the Philly, even though I'm not from Philly, I can relate being a passionate sports fan. And Philadelphia represents the underdogs, and that's what I've been my whole life. Anything I've done, I've always been an underdog. So I can relate to Vince Papale's story as well as the Philadelphia Eagles story as well.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. So, fun fact, my son also met Vince Papale when he was smaller. I sent him to a Philadelphia Eagles football camp, and he met him as well. And I think that also is the allure, the whole underdog. I feel the same exact way. Like I'm painfully loyal in life. So I'm with that. And then we're loyal fans. And I just love the excitement of being a part of it's almost like a family. We walk, in the grocery
Yes.
store all the way here in Middletown, Delaware, and it's like go birds.
And the thing is now with the internet and social media and the exposure, it's not just the Philadelphia Eagles or a regional team. They're a worldwide team. They have a
Mhm.
huge fan base here in Canada and other countries as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's shocking because I've even visited I've visited Texas twice, which I never thought that would happen. I visited let me see, I visited Nevada, California, and I've met eagle like literally Florida. I found a whole like bars that have like the fan base. It's like the secret, this is the bar for the Eagles fans here. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like we have like secret agencies everywhere, and it's really cool.
And Leah, how we met was through a comedian friend of yours and now of mine, Chica Loco. How did you end up meeting Chica Loca?
That's so social media actually, and it's funny to say that. That sounds cliche, but so we were a friend of a friend, each of us. We weren't immediate friends. And I was out with a friend one day and we were sitting at a bar and we were just chit chatting and talking about stuff. And I said, man, I really want to do a podcast. I want to do about just dating and relationships, but I want to make it fun and I want to make it, relevant and I want to make it today. And there's no censorship. Let's talk the real. and we were talking about topics. So then he tagged me in a post, I want to say like a week later, and he was like, "Hey Leah, by the way, you should do this as your topic of your podcast." And I didn't really get it up and running. I guess I was just, that was those drinks flowing in the conversation. So we started chit-chatting back on the feed, and she was his friend. So she saw that and she messaged me. She goes, "Hey, Leah, I'd love to do your podcast with you or be on your podcast." And I was like, "No, no, 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 I don't have a podcast yet." And so then we started talking, like chatting privately, and we were talking about, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm a comedian." And I was like, "No way." And we just started talking about that. And one night I went out to see her, and she blew me away. Like, I didn't know there was talent like that here in Delaware, but originally she's from New York. So, so yeah.
Oh, and when I had her on my show, even though we didn't know each other very well, we connected and we had a really good rapport. And I think we talked for 95 minutes on her first time she came on my show. Very natural on camera, and she would be great having her own podcast show if she had the time to do one.
Oh yeah, so we did one for a while. We did one briefly. I think it was like right on the tail end of COVID. So it was like one of those, you're in the house, and she wasn't quite, there yet with all her bookings because everybody was still kind of rebounding. And we did one for a while, and it was fun and games, and it was about our topics. We actually called it the Relationship Show. And we would talk about life and, relationships and things like that. It was fun and funny. We did that for a while. Then I think we were on another one again in Philadelphia some months ago. But she's so booked now, and I'm so excited for her. I'm so happy. Every time I see her post, she's in a different state. It's hard to even engage with her on social, and I mean that in a positive way. She actually has someone who manages her social media for her now, so she's big stuff now.
That's awesome. And to be honest, I wear 9 or 10 different hats, and I wish I could hire someone because social media is time consuming and booking guests as well. So I try to book my guests ahead of time, and I try to be prepared and organized. But yeah, I wear many different hats, and sometimes I just, you lose track of time when you're busy all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I told her when she did that, I was like, that's amazing. Like, I wouldn't even thought about that, like how time consuming little things like that can be. And I love that for her. I'm just happy for her, and I love seeing somebody, especially coming out of Delaware, just get up.
She's a good person.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a good person. And hopefully one day I can have you and Chica on my show and have the three of us on at some point.
Would love it. You know what? It's funny because recently I was just looking at, like I said, kind of a recent empty nester. My son's now 19. So I was looking at places and making lists of places I want to go, and Canada was actually in my top. And I started looking, coming up there and looking at prices and things like that. So
it's expensive here. Just to warn you, I love it here, but it's very expensive up here, just to be honest with you.
It's on my list, though. I swear.
Okay.
And I can't wait. But I don't want to be like a typical, and I'll probably have to confer with you later on, but I don't want to be the typical tourist and be like, "Hey, let me just see the Niagara Falls." Like, I want to see real Canada. So maybe you can help me with that.
Yeah, we have hey, we have the second biggest country in the world after Russia. Like land-wise, we're the second biggest in the world, so there's lots to do. I'm going to tell you something, you're going to laugh. I've been to more of the states than my own country, so right now my next goal on my bucket list is to get to more provinces and to get out to Western Canada as well. British Columbia, which is our version of California, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta. Western Canada is very beautiful, so I need to, myself, as a Canadian, get out a little more to Canada as well. But I've had a lot of good experiences in 13 states as well.
What was your favorite state? And I won't take any offense.
Well, Michigan is where my cousins live. They live near Detroit, and growing up as a kid in the 70s, I used to go over to Detroit to see my cousins, and they got me into being a Detroit Tigers fan, Detroit Red Wing fan, Detroit Pistons fan. So I would say Michigan, New York State, I love Green Bay. I was there for an Eagles-Packers game 5 years ago. The Eagles won, by the way. They beat the Packers. Wisconsin was a beautiful state as well. So, um, they're all Iowa's been nice. Illinois, Missouri, Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania as well. Been to Philadelphia a couple times. So, I guess I would give the edge to Michigan because that's where I was going as a lot as a kid. So, I would say Michigan, but Pennsylvania is right up there.
Yeah. I've never been to Michigan, but here's the hoping. I want to try travel everywhere, but definitely.
Detroit is a smaller version of Philly. Detroit loves their sports as
Yeah.
much as Philly. It's just a smaller version of Philadelphia, and I'm hoping the Tigers and Phillies can run into the World Series this year. But we'll see. It's hard to
Yeah.
win a championship.
It definitely is. It definitely is. But you know what? We can always, if the Eagles eventually got two Super Bowls, not one, but two, and one in my lifetime, which I'm so excited about, I will never count out any of our teams ever again.
I never thought I would see the Eagles win not one but two Super Bowls, and it really should have been three. They should have beat Kansas City 2 years ago, but you know what? That was a learning lesson, and they made up for it. And it's hard. There's no guarantees to win a championship, and there's a lot of great teams out there, Leah, that never win championships. And look at the Phillies. Phillies have had some great teams over the years, and they've only got two World Series titles in 20 years. So it's really difficult to do it. And the Eagles are no longer the hunters. They're going to be the hunted this year as being the Super Bowl champs. And I wanted to ask you this too, Leah. We already talked about when you developed an interest in the NFL and the Eagles. How much of an impact did your dad have on your love of the Eagles and the game of football?
Oh, he was the front and center. He was the reason. If I would have had a different father with a different leg of a team, it would have been different. I was always a tomboy type girl, but I was always a daddy's girl, and I'm pretty sure the daddy's girl came first. But so like I said, like I wasn't a girl to sit in the kitchen with mom. I was on dad's enclosed front porch, was sitting next to him watching the Eagles game. And funny story, back then when we had our bigger block TVs, right, where you could
Oh yeah.
knock somebody over with them. This is way before flat screens, delicate flat screens. He had something called the bad call brick, and it would look like a brick in like brick and mortar in a wall, and it was painted that way, but it was like foam. And it looked like a brick, but it had the Eagles logo on it, the Eagles, and this is the old school Eagles logo. And every time there was a bad call, even though it wasn't a real brick, you could throw it at the television. So I will never forget the bad call brick. I don't know what happened to it. I think one of our dogs ate it growing up. But so yeah, my dad is the reason I'm an Eagles fan, and because the loyalty of that, and that's just who I am as well. When I end up being a boy mom, and I've only had one child, and being a boy mom, I was like, oh, this tradition's going to go family, generation to generation. So my son, man, he beats me as a super fan. So
Who were some of your dad's favorite Eagle players? Do you remember?
my earliest memories, I don't know. I know he likes B-Dog. Everybody likes B-Dog. My earliest memories, I would say going back to like Randall Cunningham. I remember him liking him. These are the Buddy Ryan days. So those are my earliest memories. Asking him his favorite. I don't think I've ever asked him his favorite. I don't think I have to ask him that now. And I think he might be watching if he figured out the link. So, Dad, later on, I got to ask you who your favorite player has ever been. So.
Did he ever take you to games at the old Veteran Stadium?
No, no, I don't remember the old vet much at all. Like we
Okay.
didn't, I don't remember the old vet much at all. I remember my dad, he always, and to this day, he'll still tell you, I want to sit in my comfy couch on my television in my home with my beer in my hand, right here, cold. Like, I mean, he'll get with the, tailgating every once in a while, and he's the first person to ever take me tailgating and teach me the ways of tailgating. But he'll tell you before anybody, he goes, even with Eagles tickets, if someone were to give them to him, he'd go. But his preference, he's the type of guy that I'd rather sit on my couch in the comfort of my own home with, my remote in hand.
I agree with that, except when you go to a game, it's just such a different environment for being at home. The only good things about watching at home too is the broadcasters and also the camera views, but also less traffic, because I know when I was going to a lot of games in Buffalo many years ago, because they're the closest NFL team here, it would take 2.5, 3, 4 hours to get out of the parking lot because of the traffic. So it wasn't like a 2 hour day. It was probably about a 12 to 14 hour day with traveling, going across the border, and then dealing with the traffic at the end of the game as well. So there are advantages to watching the game at home. Gotta ask you this. We know what Bills Mafia is like for tailgating. Can you tell my audience what Eagles Nation is like for tailgating at the Linc?
Listen, I'll tell you this, okay? So mind you, we're just going into the regular season today, right? I every year go to it's called Eagles Open Practice. I don't, I'm sure you know about it, but just for anybody who doesn't know, they have an open practice to the fans, right? In the preseason. I try to go every year, and we tailgate for that too, because that's what we do. So I got up there. I think the open practice was at 7. This was about 4 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I got up there. Now, mind you, a friend of mine who is a Raiders fan, but his father has since passed. His father was an Eagles fan. So he's like, "Hey, who you going with?" I said, "I'm going by myself." He goes, "I'd love to go. I've never been tailgating before." I said, "Oh, this is a crash course, but like a prelim crash course, because this is just open practice." So I think the open practice was at 7 o'clock. We got up there at 2. We were behind the gun. The line was already crawling. We didn't get into the initial stadium parking lot. We literally were right there. They shut the gate in front of us and we're like, go that way. So we had to go like 3 parking lots down. And we had packed coolers and food and grills and music. And mind you, we were minor compared to people. People have buses and all kinds of stuff, TVs and grills and electric type of things. So we start to unpack. He goes, and he looked around the parking lot. He goes, "You guys really do this?" And I'm like, "We do this. This is a thing." He was like, "This is pretty cool." And I was like, "Yeah, this is," and that was just for an open practice. Like it's a party. It's a party. The kids play. I took my son, I think the first time when he was 4. So yeah, it's but ready for an all-day party. That's what it is. It's the ultimate backyard barbecue right outside of your favorite sport team.
Leah, I'm going to put you on the spot here. What are some of your favorite Philly tailgating foods and drinks, I guess, when you're doing it?
Listen, I try to stay fit, but man, I can't give up the chance for either a cheesesteak slider or a all beef hot dog. I'm not a huge pork fan, but man, I just love throwing a hot dog, a beef hot dog on the grill, and being simple, and then cracking open a beer. I don't want to do any plugs for any certain beers, but yeah, or even a cheeseburger. I'm an easy cheeseburger, hot dog, or a beer girl. I'm simple.
Who has the best cheesesteak in Philadelphia, in your opinion?
So everybody's going to try to get me into the corner and do all the typicals and all that good stuff, but there's a place and I'm sure everybody's pretty much been to South Street if you've been to Philadelphia, called Ish Kabibbles. It's actually, I think, recently become a chain, and not a chain, but I think there's a second addition to it. And I can tell you that that was one of the best cheesesteaks I had up there. I love it. It's a great place. A lot of famous people have visited. If you walk in the original place, it's small. You walk in, there's pictures all over the walls of the famous people who've come to visit them and stuff like that. So I like Ishkabibbles, definitely.
If you come to Canada to visit me, you're gonna have to make sure you bring some cheesesteaks from Philadelphia for me back.
Oh yeah, I got you. I got you. It's funny because a friend of Chica's just came up from Florida a couple months ago. We met up in Philadelphia, and that was what he did. He did like a cheesesteak, kind of like he went around from place to place because he kept hearing about it. So
Leah, there's always a stereotype. You,
mhm.
you say you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan. Oh, you're a jerk. You're violent and you're obnoxious. And obviously, yeah, Santa Claus got pelted with snowballs in 1968. But tell us about the typical stereotypes of Eagle fans. And from your perspective, do you think the national media is a little too harsh on you guys?
Yes, I do because me being a fan, an extremely loyal one, I and I've seen them. I've been with those fans that can be a little aggressive. I even kind of cringe when like tailgating and someone walks past and they're being, boo, because somebody else has on the opposite team's jersey. I don't condone anything that has to do with any children. I mean, if you come and you're for the opposite team and you have your children with you, I'm not participating in any of that. Don't let the kids know that
No.
this is still a fun place here too. Um, that's never been a thing of mine. Anybody I've ever known, I've had friends who are lifelong Eagles fans who grew up with Dallas fans too, and actually went tailgating together. So they would do it together. That was like their thing. Like they would, come up to Philadelphia and tailgate together. And, I don't condone any of that. We're not all like that. Are there some people like that? Yeah, I think half the time it's probably the alcohol they've been consuming for hours watching the game, not condoning again. But I think that's a misconception. We're not all like that. We're just really loyal and passionate.
And you get that in other teams too. I've seen Bill fans do that as well.
Yeah.
And what I love about the Canadian Football League here, there's only 9 teams here. Everybody who likes their team has their team, but it's kind of like a family environment. And I don't see why people can't cheer for their teams and have a good time and not be stupid about it. So
Yeah.
I think the majority of fans are good. There's always your bad apples in every city, every team, and I just think Philadelphia gets a bad knock.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I think that it gets highlighted a little bit more. Yeah, like you said, Santa Claus was pelted like how many years
1968.
ago? And
Yes.
we still got to hear about that.
Yes, or the veteran stadium. I guess
Yeah.
because the 700 level was rowdy too. But what I love about the Philly fans is they're passionate. They love their team. When they win, they support them. When they play bad and they stink, they have a right to boo. They have a right. They're very demanding. But as a professional athlete, you want to play in an environment like that where your things are going well, people love you. But if
Mhm.
things aren't, they hold their athletes to being accountable.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was actually in Philadelphia a couple weeks ago, just having a good time hanging out with some friends. And I was sitting next to someone also an Eagles fan. So we were talking, Eagles. We were in a sports bar. And he was like devil's advocate and he was trying to show me a play from the, Super Bowl and all this other stuff. He was like, we should look at this play a little bit more. And it was kind of in favor of Mahomes, but not being in favor of Mahomes. Like, look at this. And I was like, well, look at what? Look at what? And I was like, what are you trying to say? You trying to make an excuse? They're like, no, no, no. Look at this play. And he was like, and my legs started shaking. And he was like, whoa, what? He was like, I'm just saying this call could have went a little differently. I was like, no, you're trying to make an excuse. We won fair and square. But it was just, he was like, look at your leg. It's really shaking. I was like, I just love my team.
Leah, since I've got you on here, one of my early guests was somebody that kind of helped me with my podcasting and talk show, and I looked up to him. His name is Jamie Pagley, the Philly sports guy. Have you ever run into him or seen him at the stadium?
No. The
No, the
name
Philly
does sound
sports guy.
familiar though. Yeah, the name
Yeah,
sounds really.
he paints his face up, and he is like he's everywhere with the Eagles. He travels to all their games, and he was a he's a I still consider him a friend of mine. I just haven't heard from him lately because he's busy and I'm busy. And to
Yeah.
me, he represents Eagle fans because he loves the team as much as anybody, and he really gets into the face painting part of it too.
You know what? It's funny because you said that. I think I know exactly who you're talking about since you said the face painting. Like I'm picturing him. So, because
Yes.
I've been to so many of those
Yeah.
events. So yeah, that's awesome. That sounds so cool.
Shout out to Jamie Pagley, aka the Philly sports guy. Because when I started this podcast, my media career 6 years ago, I didn't know anything about StreamYard, and I liked Jamie's podcast, and he told me about StreamYard. And when I had questions, Jamie would actually get back to me. So 6 years later, I've never forgot where I came from, and he gave me a helping hand, and he came on my show a number of times. So I want to give a shout out to Jamie Egley, the Philly sports guy, for kind of helping me with my talk show.
Shout out anybody. Eagles, go birds.
All right, Leah, we're going to get into the current Eagles. Just thoughts on last year's team and their amazing 18-4 season, and just winning their second Super Bowl against the Kansas City Chiefs. It really should have been worse than 40-22, in my opinion.
Listen, you're not going to believe my take on this, but towards like I want to say the second half of the season, I want to say playoff time. I stood up and paced my entire living room every game because I felt like they were all semi nail biters. Like it wasn't cut and dry. Like we just went in and kicked their behind. So when we got into the Super Bowl, I was, you know, elated, excited, so happy. And I'm sitting in front of my television and I cooked all day long. I mean, I cooked just for me and my son. Like I cooked everything, Philadelphia, sliders, everything. So I cooked and I'm in front of my television like this isn't going to be cut and dry. We are literally going to be neck and neck all night long. Like this game is going to give me heart palpitations. It's going to make my blood pressure go up. When when I say we went in kicking their behind from the gate, I couldn't believe it. And I'm not saying that like I didn't believe in my team, but I was like, this is what we deserve. This is what we work hard for. This is us. This is who we really are. So I thought that game was absolutely amazing. And I loved everything about it to the dagger, to Smitty that locked everything down. The game was just amazing, but I didn't go down without biting my nails the entire time.
Kansas City did a nice job on trying to contain Saquon Barkley, but they didn't realize the Eagles can pass. Jalen Hurts had one of his best games. To me, he's outplayed Mahomes in two Super Bowls right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
and the Eagles set the tone defensively and offensively and special teams. It was a true team effort, and they really could have scored 50 or more points if they didn't take the starters out with 8-9 minutes left in the fourth quarter of a Super Bowl game, which doesn't happen very often.
No, not at all. And you know what? I think that's part of the thing that everyone kept saying that I couldn't stand because from look 2 3 years ago, like Jalen, I was like, this kid, his heart, I love it. His attitude, his ethic, his able to, I like to call it duck on the pond. He's like there and he's even keel, but he's spinning and he's ready and he's thinking about his next move. And everybody's thinking, oh, he's just too chill. He's not throwing his helmet like a Mahomes or something. This kid is just focused on the game and he's ready and he's not here for the gossip. So I always had it like I knew, and people were talking, oh, he can't pass this and that. And then when he does these amazing passing games, people still aren't giving him his flowers. And I'm like, this kid keeps showing you he has it in him. Like it's that it kind of goes along with being an Eagles fan. Like he perpetuates what it's like to be an Eagles fan or someone who's loyal to the Eagles. And even Sirianni does that too. He embodies us, the passion, the energy, and it's like, you know, I
The
I
un-
think that
the
yeah,
underdog mentality, and the thing
underdog.
is, And the thing is, I'm close to Buffalo, and all I hear is Josh Allen, Josh Allen. I'm like, Josh Allen's a talented player, no Super Bowl appearances. He's 0-4 against Mahomes. He's 0-1 against Joe Burrow. And Jalen Hurts. Oh, by the way, we got a dog on the show. What's your name of your dog?
I'm sorry. His name is
It's okay.
Blue. I'm so
That's
sorry.
okay.
His
No,
name
dogs are
ironically, his name is Blue, but that's only because he's a blue pit bull.
okay. No, dogs are good. Dogs to me are just as important as football. Dogs and then
Yeah,
football right up there. Yeah.
yes.
But
He's an Eagles fan too.
yeah. Yeah. But as for Jalen Hurts, you know what? I think he uses the motivation, and that's why I like Jalen Hurts too, because everybody keeps telling him he can't do this, he can't do that, and he just
Yeah.
keeps proving people, and that's what I like to do too. When people tell me I can't do something because of my age or being self-taught in radio media, I love to prove people wrong, and I think Jalen Hurts has got the right mindset for this team too, because he's already focused on this year. Because he said, "I'm not going to worry about the Super Bowl ring. That's last year. That's in the past. I'm focused on this year." And Nick Sirianni even, I don't know if you agree with this or not, he's not going to have the team out on the field when
Yeah.
they put out the banner tonight. What are your thoughts on that, Leah?
You mentioned the ring thing, which I loved. So when I seen that Jalen, even in the photos, because I follow all that on the ring ceremony, when Jalen didn't put his ring on, I already knew what it was. I was like, this kid is just not. He's like, okay, that's nice. This happened back in February. We're getting ready to gear up for the new season, and then to see Sirianni at that press conference and say, I didn't even realize it was, this game we were doing that. We're not going to be on the field. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, they're in sync, which speaks a lot to their mentality together. And I think that's very important for a quarterback and a coach to have that same mindset. It's like they're thinking, hey, forget all that hoopla, keep it out, tune it out. It's ready. It's time to go for a new season, new era, and I love it. I love it.
How special is this latest Super Bowl compared to the first one in 2017? And do you feel this organization is in a better position to compete for another Super Bowl this year compared to the 2018 team that kind of just fell apart and they just didn't have it?
Yeah. So 2017 was I was working in a much higher demanding job. I was working for an executive office, and I was, one of the key people in that office, and it was really hard to get time off. And I was, single mom in it, still, I think I was still finishing up one of my degrees, and we won the Super Bowl, and I know I cried. I cried my eyeballs out. Number one, because I would watched it with my dad and my son and my dad's wife. And I was really excited that the three of us, the three generations, got to watch it together. And I was also excited to see my father see one before, in his lifetime. So I was excited for that, and then I was there to witness it. So that was very special. However, because you win and then the parade is only a couple of days away. Well, in my job, you better give good advance to take off, and it better be a good reason. So I knew, and my boss knew that I was a huge Eagles fan. I was like, if I ask for this day off, I'm probably not going to get it. She's probably going to know what it's for, and I got too much to do anyway. So I was basically almost in tears that I couldn't make it to our parade in Philadelphia. So I didn't make it to it. And I was just so upset. I was like, I'm never going to be able to go to a parade. This is sad. I'm happy we went before, but who knows if we're ever going to win again, blah, blah, blah. And then when we won this time around, I have a different job now. I finished my degree. I'm in that type of, environment. And my boss, who was also an Eagles fan, told me, I know you're taking this day off, right? I was like, yes, of course. So I actually got to go to the parade, and it was absolutely amazing. It was everything I ever wanted. So
How special was it? And did you get a lot of pictures and videos?
So I did. It was very special. Me and my son took the train up there from where we were in Wilmington, which is the city right outside of Philadelphia. So it's like Delaware's Philadelphia is Wilmington. So we drove into Wilmington and we caught the SEPTA up there. It was extremely packed. I mean, it was exactly the way I thought it would be. I mean, people were just pouring onto that train, and you were lucky if you got to sit down. And it was just absolutely amazing. And I went with my son. I would have loved if my dad could have went, but I know that that's, he's just the crowds and all that good stuff is not his cup of tea. So, but me and my son went up. We spent the day there. We walked. I mean, no matter how cold it was, you weren't paying it any mind at all. You were geared up. And then when you walk the streets, it was literally like a big block party. There were speakers that were size of buildings playing music. It was amazing. Like I can't even, I don't even think I can give it verbal accommodations the way it deserves because it was like the best party ever. And then they even had the game playing on big flat screens all over the streets. So it was just actually fueling the fire of the day. So I do have videos, I do have pictures, but they are not to be seen.
That is awesome. I'm going to put you on the spot here. In terms of all-time performances by an Eagles quarterback, and Jalen Hurts now has a Super Bowl like Nick Foles and a Super Bowl MVP like Foles, where do you rank Jalen Hurts up with all-time great Eagles quarterbacks, even only being in the league 5 years?
He's definitely in the top 5. I would definitely say he's in the top 5. Um, I think he's up there with the Randall Cunninghams, the Mike Vicks. I mean, Mike Vick is definitely honorable mention, I think, even though he wasn't with us that very long. Um, Nick Foles, he's great with us, but I mean, he was, secondary. So I don't even think he got the shine with us as much as he could have. You know what I mean? Um, Probably unpopular opinion. I kind of wanted Foles from the beginning. Our said quarterback at the time wasn't I wasn't completely sold. I didn't think the turmoil in the locker room was something that the team needed from what you heard, you know, so gossip or whatever. But I was like, I didn't feel the team energy from that quarterback at the time. So we think we all know what I'm
Number
talking
11, yeah.
about.
And I bought his jersey after Super Bowl 52. So I can always take the last name off and keep the jersey because I like the jersey
That's
because you
true.
get the Super Bowl 52 patch and stuff like that. But I do feel the Eagles have their long-term franchise quarterback in Jalen Hurts, and he has the right mindset and the attitude. And I think the guys really like playing for him. And I think this is his team as long as he's stays healthy and this team can continue to be competitive.
I agree. He's still young. He's still hungry. And it's funny the way people, criticize his mentality because I don't recall, and maybe someone can correct me because I was never a huge Kobe fan or Jordan fan. I used to consider them, kind of cocky, and I've always been a Philadelphia person, this side, East Coast, all that. Um, but people would have called that Mamba mentality when it came to Kobe, rest in peace. Or the way Jordan is. I would used to say that Jordan was a little bit arrogant, but I mean he was a winner. So if it was one of them, people would have been saying that. But I don't even think Jalen carries half of that arrogance that people are saying they carried. So I think the kid's just extremely focused. He doesn't pay attention to all the static and the noise, and I love that about him. I love it.
Where does running back Saquon Barkley 2024 performance with over 2,000 yards rank up there with all-time Philadelphia athletes' performances in a season?
Oh man, as far as I've seen in my lifetime, and I'm 40,
Yes.
40 something, um, definitely top 3. I would say top 3. Now, mind you, people are going to hate me because as a female, I'm about to say I'm not a big stats girl. But as far as performances, Um, I haven't been this excited about a RV since, oof, who else can I think of?
For me, it's Mike Schmidt of the Phillies and Dr. J of the 76ers. That's
Ah,
those are the
okay.
ones. Yeah, that to me, he's right up there with those performances.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I was very, so when we get a team from another, or when we get a player from a team that, like the Giants or Dallas or whatever, all that talk with Michael Parsons and all that other stuff, I'm kind of leery because I'm like, all right, are you going to come and really do right by us? I know they're being paid, they're players and all that, but my loyalty side, and this is my I guess this is my woman side too. It's like, are you really going to come and play for us and give your heart to us and be Philly now? Like, are you going to be one of us? When Saquon came, I was a little eerie, like, you're coming from New York and you didn't exactly have the best last season. Are you going to come here and just be a dud? And when I say it seems like he came and flourished, I was like, okay, so he needs to set the precedent for anybody else who comes from another team, especially someone who's like one of our major competitors. And I just loved it. I feel like we gave that kid his wings and he flew and he did right by us last year.
I have a viewer right now on Instagram Live, Edward Hearn. He's out of Los Angeles, and he wants to say he has this comment: "Hope my Detroit Lions can dethrone your Eagles." Just quickly, who do you think out there in the NFC could challenge the Eagles? I know for me, it's the Los Angeles Rams because the Los Angeles Rams were very close to beating the Eagles last year in the divisional round. If it wasn't for Jalen Carter's sack of Matt Stafford, in my opinion, the Rams tested us more than any other team did last playoff round, in
Yeah.
my opinion.
Yeah, Chris, I'd have to side with you. I'd have to say that. For as far as like anything that was memorable last year that could have been that gave us a good run for my money, I'd definitely have to agree with you. Yeah. So, but you
And
know
I have
what? This
another
year,
viewer watching from.
go
Go
ahead. I'm
ahead.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was about to say, we gotta, think we still have a good young team. Yeah, I think we have a good, relatively young team. So I think we still have all the momentum going for us.
Absolutely. I do think Howie did a good job. We obviously lost some good players like Milton Williams and Slade and CJ Gardner. And if the secondary does struggle a little bit this year, I'm confident that Howie Roseman and the Eagles organization will address it before the trade deadline in the NFL. So I do think this team is in good spot, a good position. From the NFC, Detroit obviously is going to be good. I think Washington will be good. I think the Packers are improved with Mika Parsons. We're still going to play Parsons this year because the Eagles play the Packers. So I think there's a number of teams that can challenge us, but I think the Eagles are still the favorites until somebody can knock them out, and we'll see.
Yeah.
Before we
Yeah.
wrap this up, Leah, Philadelphia is a great sports city. From your perspective, are the Eagles clearly the number one team in the city? Obviously, they love the Phillies, the Flyers, the Sixers, even the soccer team. But are the Eagles clearly the number one team in Philadelphia?
You look at the numbers and the stats right now, yeah, absolutely. I think if you had to put it in order, it'd be the Eagles, the Phillies, and then our Sixers. Unfortunately, our Sixers have suffered for a while. I hate to say that because
Yes.
let me tell you something. I was an Allen Iverson era girl. Loved that era. So I hate to say that, but I think that that was where I would rank it right now. I mean, the energy is just coming from the link. It's coming from Eagles.
What are your thoughts on the great Merle Reese, who's been the Eagles play by play announcer since 76, 77, which is amazing. He's in his 49th year this year behind the booth.
That is absolutely amazing. Can you imagine having a job that long?
And he's still good at it. And
Yeah,
when I hear him, I as much as I love watching the TV, I like listening to him and Mike Quick because Merle, still at his age, is passionate and does a great job calling the game. And he represents the Eagles. Like when Merle retires, hopefully not for a while yet. I'm hoping they'll have a statue of him at the Link when his
listen,
broadcasting career is over.
Anybody's better than Chris Collinsworth, okay? If you keep him away from my Eagles, okay, let's do that. I don't know if you've ever been able to listen to him, and everyone says, no, he's subjective. No, he's not. He doesn't like us, and I'll take anybody but him. But yes, you're absolutely right. I hope they memorialize him. Definitely.
I apologize. It's just my issue. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I apologize. Can you see and hear me okay now?
Yeah, you're
Okay,
breaking up a
everybody,
little.
just the technical glitch. Hopefully, Leah will be back on. My Wi-Fi froze there, so I apologize. All right, guys. Just 1 second. Okay, just 1 second, guys. Just bear with me. Technical glitch. We're gonna see what we can do here, and we'll get Leah back on here. I think I'll just turn off my virtual background. Okay, Leah, can you hear and see me okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay, I think we're good. Yeah, I turned my virtual background off. So, yeah, we're just talking
Can you hear
about
me?
announcers and stuff like that. Yes, I can hear you good.
Okay.
Have you had the pleasure of meeting Merle Reese and Mike Quick yet?
No, no, I've met a lot.
No.
And these are brief meetings. I've met a lot, but they were all brief meetings at events. But no, I didn't.
Can you tell my audience who are some of your former and current Eagles that you've met and some of your old-time favorites?
So I met Zach Ertz. Shout out to Zach Ertz. I miss him so much. I was so sad when he left, and I actually cried during his press conference when he was crying when he left us. Funny story. I met him at it's called the Ladies' Day out at the Eagles Linc. It's an all women's event, and they have a couple players there. And we actually got to walk right up to him and meet him and say hi. And my friend actually proposed to him. So that was funny. And I just looked at him and I said, can we just take a selfie? I don't want to propose. And he laughed and we took a selfie together. And he was so polite and so nice. And we laughed about that. I met Doug Peterson. This was the year before we won the Super Bowl. And this was before, the crowd wasn't as big as that event. So the players and everyone, like I said, you could approach them. And Doug was right in the tunnel at the Linc. So all you had to do was get behind a velvet rope and walk up to him, and he would take a picture with you. And I remember it was kind of a windy day. And I went to go put my arm around him and take the picture. And I said to him, make sure you bring us that trophy. And he was like, I will. And the wind blew. And people think I'm kidding when I tell this story. And I'm not, because there's actually photographic evidence. I said, bring us the trophy. And he said, I will. The wind blew through the tunnel. And my hair, when they went to click the picture, my hair went in his mouth. So the picture is of him going with my hair in his mouth. And we laughed so hard, and I walked away, and that was the year we won. And my son to this day laughs, and he goes, Mom, you got this like thing with the Eagles. You got like this magic with them. So because one time I also at one of those events got picked to play Flip Cup with Jordan Mailata and Jordan Davis. And Jordan Davis was my team player, and we won together. And then the next year they used my picture at the next ladies event because when I won, I was like, woo! And I jumped up. So they used that photograph and they used it to promote the ladies' day out at the Lincoln Financial Stadium. And Jordan Davis and Jordan Mailata, they were super sweet. They were super fun. And I think I jumped up on Jordan Davis when we won. So
Who was the tallest player that you had your picture with, height-wise?
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis?
Well, you know what? Dallas Goedert might be, but he was sitting down because he walked past us first, and I didn't see him. He was coming out to talk on stage, and I was looking at something else, and my son just like tapped my arm, and he went, "Mom!" And I went like this, and we both just we're not like the, oh my God, I run up to them people. We're like the freeze people. So we both froze, and he walked past, and we both were like, And we looked at him. So I would say arguably both of them, just a different stature. But yeah, Jordan Davis was a big kid.
Who was the shortest player that you had your picture with? Was
Kenny
it
Gainwell.
Oh, I like him, Mr. Reliable.
Love Kenny Gainwell. Love him. And he
Yes.
was so sweet because when we walked up to him, it's a ladies event and my dad had got me VIP tickets. My birthday was a couple of days prior. So we were in like the VIP, like where they go to eat type deal. So we
Yeah.
got to walk up to them and Kenny Gainwell had just sat down and we were the first in line. And I took my son to this ladies, it's supposed to be all women. And I've seen one or two guys there. So I was like, I don't really have any females to take with me. I'm taking my son. I want to do this with my son and it's my birthday present. So I took my son with me and we walk up together. My son standing behind me. I looked at Kenny Gainwell. I said, this is my birthday. It's my birthday present. I said, so will you sign my son's jersey and take a picture with me? And he laughed and he was like, absolutely. So he did that and he was so nice. And him and Goddard, they were sitting next to each other. They were so sweet.
Doing media work, I've gotten, obviously I get to go into the locker rooms for the media work that I do, and I get to see another side of athletes that the fans don't do, and a lot of them are humble and very appreciative, and I think that's great that they do that with the fans because they don't. It's just they're part of a family, and the team needs the fans, and the fans love the players, and it's just
Yeah.
nice when people like yourself has such great experiences because sometimes you can idolize an athlete or a celebrity, and then when you meet them in person, sometimes they're not what they portray to be. And I've been very lucky with the athletes and celebrities that I've interviewed so far.
Yeah, that's always was my worry, and I think that's one of I think there's a saying, don't quote me exactly, but I think it's like, be careful if you meet your idols or something like that. And I've never been the type, like I said, like me and my son are basically the same way. I'm not the type to like be like, ah, start screaming and run up and
Yeah,
make a scene because I'm just like, I don't want you. You're a person too,
yeah,
and I don't know what you're doing. I don't know where you're going. So I'm always very careful to approach, like, hey, do you
yes,
mind? Even with Zach Ertz, you had to do like a obstacle course down the field first. So I was at the front of and I didn't want to do the obstacle course, but my friend did. So she did. She jumped through the tires. She jumped over, ran around some things, and he's at the end with security. So I'm like standing there, and no one else was really around us. So I kind of like started walking up a little bit to see if anybody would say anything. And she's like proposing to him, and I just kind of looked at him like, can I approach type deal. And then, if you did the obstacle course, then you got the picture. So I looked at him. I said, I didn't do the obstacle course, but do you mind? He was like, not at all. He was like, come on. And that's how we got our picture together. We did the selfie. So I'm just very cautious. They're people too. This is
yeah.
I'm glad they're here and I'm happy to meet them, you know?
I'm going to put you on the spot here. Obviously, you've had a lot of great photos with some current and former players. Eagles memorabilia. What's your favorite Eagles jersey and memorabilia that you have?
So my favorite is the one I'm wearing, which is Kelsey. I think he embodies Philly. And he was another one when he was retiring and his tears. I mean, I think that just says a lot. And then like his iconic, Super Bowl speech, he just embodies everything. I keep telling everyone because I go up to Philly so often. And I think I've passed his truck a couple times. And I keep telling everyone my dream, as much as I come up here, is I want to still, I don't care if he's retired. I wanted to run into him, and the perfect dream would be him and his wife. I want to run into them and have a beer together. That's all I want to do. I want to have a beer together and talk Eagles, tell him how fun, how much we respect everything he gave to the team. And that's that's my dream. And I want to make it happen because, I've met some.
If there was one Eagle player, current or former, that you could get an autograph, which one would it be besides Jason Kelsey?
Jalen Hurts, absolutely, for many reasons, because I love him. I adore him. I love his mentality. But it's funny because at that event that I took my son to, several women walked up to us and asked my son if he was related to him. So I'd love to see his response to that if I told him, like, hey, a couple of Eagles events, people have asked my son if he's related to you, which is completely flattering because he's a gorgeous man, and my son's gorgeous too.
I have another viewer on from Buffalo. His name is Robbie Schneider. He's a friend of mine. He's a Buffalo Bills fan. My condolences. He just says, "Hi, Chris and Leah. Go Birds." So I've convinced him the Eagles are the way to go and not the Bills. And the Eagles play the Bills this year. Eagles and Bills play in Buffalo on December 27th. So who knows?
Wow.
Maybe I'm able to get over to that game because there'll be at least 10,000 Eagle fans that travel to Orchard Park, New York.
It's gonna be nice and cold too. You better bundle up. It's gonna be nice and
Depends.
cold.
Sometimes it's not. Buffalo, sometimes it's hit and miss in December and January. You just never know nowadays.
Yeah, definitely. I love going up north and visiting as far as I can go, but the cold, I am not a cold person.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So I don't mind it. But hey, before we wrap this up, Leah, I just got to get your thoughts on tonight's matchup with the hated Dallas Cowboys and seeing that second Super Bowl banner being hung up from the Linc tonight. And will you be watching at home or at a local bar?
I'm staying home. I already have my drinks on ice. I already have my food ready. I'm by myself. I got my gear on. I got my yoga pants on. I'm ready, and it's all us tonight. Go Birds!
What kind of food?
I just got some chicken from Popeyes. I didn't with no just me here cooking anymore. It all goes bad. I'm living the bachelor life now.
On my way over from Ontario.
Let's go.
Food and beer and Eagles football. And Robbie's got another comment. He says, score prediction tonight 28-14 Birds. What do you see, Leah, the score being for tonight?
I would have to go with that one. I would have to go. I'd say, yeah, I'd say that because I was going to go lower, but because I'm saying I only would say lower for both teams because number one, we're coming out the gate with a lot of energy. This is, the first game of the season. Even though everyone's like hyped and excited and everything, I mean, it's still the first game of the season. So I don't think that it's smart to come out the box firing so soon in the season. So I think the score is going to be a little lower than that. All around, still in favor of us.
I think the Eagles are going to win this game 34-24.
You think so? You think it's going to be that high scored? Really?
34-24, yeah.
You think so?
And the total over under tonight, I believe, is 47 and a half. I think it'll surpass that. And the Eagles are favored by 7.5 points. Dallas just traded their heart and soul of their defense. Micah Parsons. I know they got Kenneth Clark and stuff like that. And I'm not just recounting them. I think the Eagles are going to win tonight 34-24. And I think Saquon Barkley is going to have a big game. I just don't think they're going to have any answers for Saquon Barkley. And I believe Hurts is on a mission to prove the media wrong about him, and I think this team has got the right mindset, and I think they're going to win tonight 34-24 over Dallas.
Yeah, you know what? It would be nice to see that highest score game, but again, I don't want to this might be, I know guys and girls sometimes are different when it comes to football games, and my son would probably be just with you, Chris. I mean, he would be totally like bulldoze, steam ahead. And I'm like, no, it's early in the season. We want to come out, play steady, play strong, but we don't want to come out getting anybody injured. Dallas isn't looking that great already this year. They might have a vendetta already trying to come out and hurt us. So, but you know what? Let's see what happens.
Do you have a ritual? Do you have a game day or game night ritual before each Eagles home game or road game?
Crack a drink. I like to crack a drink, just sit on my couch. My dog's usually curled up next to me. Like I said, sometimes I would cook food, but now that my son's not at home, I don't really cook as often anymore. So I'll go pick up something. I may have a friend or two over here and there. Every once in a while, I like going to a bar, to break up and especially if it's a big game. But, when I really want to focus and I really want to sit there and just enjoy my home, especially when it's really, really cold outside, I'm
Yeah.
like, I just want to be underneath my Eagles blanket with all my gear on and just enjoy it at home. So, yeah.
What's a fun fact about yourself? One fun fact about Leah Cochran.
Fun fact about myself. Fun fact, fun fact. Oh, besides being a Eagles girl, fun fact. I don't know if this will be a fun fact, but I was a criminal justice student. So I love, like, and a lot of women, I know this is a little cliche, I love, you know, killer documentaries. But then I also love gushy, gushy love movies. So if you look at like my whole, Netflix queue or whatever, you're like, what is going on here? I'm like, well, I like watching girls chop heads off, but I also like watching people be in love. It's really confusing to people. They're like, what's up with this? So that's one fun fact. I'm a single mom. I raised my boy by myself. So I did that while working two jobs. I'm a bartender part-time, and I also obtained 3 college degrees while I raised my son. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Important of education. And you know what? Education doesn't stop in a classroom. It's a lifelong thing. And I do public speaking during the school year for local high schools about the importance of education in the classroom, but outside of it. And also, you don't have to pick one career when you're in high school and stick with it your whole life. Because I'm 53 and I'm now in my second career, and age is just a number. And
Yeah.
education, you're never too old to keep learning.
Not at all, not at all. I even have my paralegal certification, and actually this year my goal is to take and complete my real estate certification. So, yeah,
I've I've had I've had a number of real estate agents on my show so far.
nice. I have to keep that in mind because it's time for me to hang up the bartending hat. I'm getting a little aged for it. So, though I love it, I'm a bartender at heart. Um,
Favorite drink to serve. What's your favorite drink to make?
One of my favorite shots to make is a pineapple upside down cake. I make it a lot. Usually women love it, especially the ones that come in and go, give me something fruity. For like an older crowd or an older person who doesn't quite know what they want, a gentleman especially, an old fashioned always sits great. So if they go, yeah, I just want something with bourbon, you're going to get an old fashioned, like making them. They're not very common as they used to be. I'm great making a Cosmo. I make it right to the edge perfectly, and everyone says it's the great hue of color. So, yeah.
They say being a bartender too is you're kind of like a shrink because people come in and you get all walks of life, all kinds of people coming in here telling you their life stories and stuff like that. Do you feel that way being a bartender?
Definitely. I mean, you definitely have to be ready to, and I know it just not be from being a bartender, but also being a bar patron. You got to be ready for someone who's going to come in, and normally they want to go to their cheers. They want to come in, they want to see their regulars, they want to see their friends. If you had a bad day, they want to know that their favorite bartender, they're going to be like, hey, Leah, how was your exam the other day? Or how did things go with that talk you had to have with your son? Those are the best parts of going to your local bar, not really your chain. All bartenders are great. I'm not discounting those, but going to your just local bar and being able to talk to them like your friend. And I have a bar near my home where I do that at, and I love that. And as a bartender, that's the best part about it.
If I ever do get to meet you in person one day, I'll have to try your pineapple upside cake drink.
Yeah, I got you. I got you, definitely. I will make them. I'll line them up. I'll be ready. I'm always ready for a good shot.
And then you're gonna have to come up with a Jalen Hurts drink too.
Wow, I didn't think about that. I'm definitely gonna have to do it. You know what I'd have to do though? I'd have to meet him. And this isn't a plug just because I want to meet him, but I'd have to meet him and find out what he likes. You know what I mean? Because if I did a drink that I would name after him, I'd have to know that it's something that he would drink,
Drink.
you
Makes
know?
sense. But we should definitely, if you do that, then I get some credit for the idea.
Absolutely. Heck yeah. Heck yeah. And like I said, I just want to have a beer with Jason Kelsey. Whatever beer he wants to drink, I don't care. Just a beer.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's somebody I'd like to meet too. By the way, this is a new segment on my show as we wrap this up. It's called Ask the Host CDP a Question. Do you have a question for me to put me on the hot seat?
Yes. So, um, who is your favorite all-time Eagle in the past and present?
The present, it would be, I would like to say Saquon Barkley, but Jalen Hurts is just, I can relate to him so much about being told he can't do this, can't do that, and proving the credit's wrong. So I would give the edge to Jalen Hurts. And my all time favorite Eagle, well, obviously Vince Paul
Hmm.
I loved Wilbert Montgomery, the running back. I liked
Nice.
LaShawn McCoy. I like Harold Carmichael. I like Mike Quick. That is a tough question. I would
Yeah.
say probably I gotta go with Reggie White, the late Reggie White.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh
The late
that
Reggie White.
yes, yes. And Shady too. I
Shady
can't
McCoy.
believe I can't believe I didn't mention Shady earlier. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
another great. He's another great.
Even when he
Wow.
played for Buffalo, he never forgot where he came from. And he still bled green, even being a Buffalo Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. Wow, that's crazy. Did you know that Deshaun Jackson coaches for one of our colleges here in Delaware now?
Yeah, I heard that. And by the way, I have a Deshaun Jackson jersey,
Do
number
you?
10. So he's up there too. So I'm going to have to write a book one day of my top 25 Eagle players. But right now, my current player is number one, and I'm hoping to get a Kelly Green jersey. What are your thoughts on those Kelly Green jerseys?
I love them. I have one. Actually, it's a Deshaun Jackson one.
Wow.
I have one. Oh man, I'd have to go. So my son has an AJ Brown jersey, a white one, and
Good
he was like,
choice.
yeah, he was. It's funny because he's the one who told me about him, and I had no clue. So when he came in, my son, we went and got one online like immediately. So I didn't even know this kid yet. And I think I might have sent you one or two pictures. But if you see, the players are all signing that white jersey. So that's actually hanging up. And that has like, I want to say like 10 player signatures all over it. So we're going to
Awesome.
hold on to that forever. Yeah.
If there was one former Eagle coach I would love to meet, it would be Dick Vermeil. Because Dick Vermeil turned this franchise around back in the 70s. They were 60s and 70s. They were awful. They missed the playoffs 17 years in a row. They hired Dick Vermeil, and within 4 years, he took the Eagles to their first Super Bowl. So if I could meet one former Eagle coach, it would be Dick Vermeil because he helped turn around this franchise along with Andy Reid, Doug Peterson, and now Nick Sirianni, who I don't think gets enough credit for this team's success.
Wholeheartedly agree with you. Wholeheartedly. Like I agree. And I think if anything I could change about some of our fan base is like, stop chopping us off at the knees as soon as someone shows a little bit of, weakness. So at Sirianni last year, there were a couple grumbles in the beginning of
Yep.
the year, and I'm like, stop. I'm like, stop it. This is just, a little bump in the road. So yeah, I totally agree with you.
The head coach of the Toronto Argonauts, he's been their head coach the same time as Nick Sirianni. He's been in Toronto 5 years. He's taken the Toronto Argonauts to two Grey Cups, two Grey Cup wins in 3 years, and some of the critics still don't like him. And it's like this guy is a legend already, and he's only been in Toronto 5 years. And I've interviewed his name is Ryan Dimwitty, and he's a former quarterback in the CFL, and he's got the same demeanor and approach to the game that Nick Sirianni does. And I think that's what makes these guys successful coaches. And they stay humble. They always talk about moving on from the past. And it's basically in Toronto, and it's the same with Philly. 1 week at a time, let's go 1-0, and that's it. 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. And there's no thinking ahead or thinking about past success.
Yes, I completely agree, especially as someone, sometimes you admire the traits that you don't carry.
Yep.
I'm a constant worrier. I constantly think about the past. So I think that's why I love their energy. I'm like me. I'm like,
Yep.
I'm thinking about tonight's game,
Yep.
all week long. Like, and they're just like, one game at a time. I'm like, yes, yes.
I'm hoping one day when you come to Toronto, you'll come to a CFL game in Toronto because I think you'd really like the experience. It's like a family experience, and the players and the fans can relate and stuff. So I'm hoping one day you can come to a game here in Toronto.
I'd love to. I told you, Canada's definitely on my list. I'm
Okay,
definitely visiting. Definitely.
definitely. Hey, Leah, I want to say thank you so much for giving us over 80 minutes of your time tonight. And where can our audience follow you on social media?
Sure. So on Facebook, I'm Leah C. Cochran. So you can get me that way. And then on Instagram, you can get me at LIACANDI, Leah Candy. My name is just spelled a little different. It's part of my middle name. And I do have a TikTok. I don't know how to tell you how to follow that.
Okay. I'm on TikTok, by the way. I'm on there a
I
lot.
think I think they gave me my assigned name when I got on there. I think it's Leah Cochran, all one word, 004. And I don't know how they gave that to me, but that's okay because '04 is my birth month. So yeah, I think that's me. If you find
Yeah.
me, you find me. So good luck. But yeah, that's how you can find me.
I was hoping one of my past guests was going to make a appearance tonight, but he obviously didn't have a chance. Do you remember a former Eagle tight end named Jason Dunn by any chance? Jason Dunn?
That rings a bell. What
He
what
played
years
for
are we talking?
96 to 2000. He played with Andy Reid, and he also was drafted the same year as Brian Dawkins. I've had him on my show before. Jason Dunn.
Ooh, yeah. Like mine, you're talking, I'm not even gonna tell you how old I was back then, and I was doing some really different things back then that age.
Yes. So I'm
So
I'm hoping to have Jason on again as a guest,
very
and yeah, and I was hoping to be able to pop on tonight, but he has his own podcast. He's a former Chief too. He has the Chiefs Concern podcast. So if you ever want to check out his podcast show, it's called Chiefs Concern, and obviously they talk about the Chiefs, but he never forgets about his days with the Philadelphia Eagles and the impact Andy Reid had on his career as well.
nice. I have to check it out, definitely.
Well, Leah, I'm going to wrap this up because we've got 8:20 tonight kickoff. I'm going
Yeah,
to watch the game on TV, but I'm also going to turn down the volume and listen to Mike Quick and Merle Reese on 94.1 WIP in Philadelphia. And I think what's her name? Devon Caney. I guess she's taken over for Howard Eskin as a sideline reporter. So I'm really looking forward to this game tonight. And I do feel the Eagles are going to get off to a good start. 34-24. You say what, 28-14?
yeah, I'd stick with that. I'm okay with a win right now. Again,
Win.
I don't. I want everybody to just come out strong and stay healthy. That's what I want.
That's going to be the key to this year's team is stay healthy, and because injuries can hamper you like they did with the Detroit Lions last year. They lost 12 starters on their defense last year to injury. So let's pray the Eagles get a win tonight and they can stay healthy, and one game 1 week at a time. And Leah, I would love to have you back on again in the future to talk more Eagles and maybe talk some comedy with Chica Local. And when you see her next, please say hi to her for me as well.
I definitely will. I definitely will. And we'll talk next when we win another Super Bowl again this year. Wink, wink.
Fingers crossed. Number three.
Fingers and toes.
And the next time you see me, I'll be 5'4".
I want to be 5'4".
No, you're fine. And like I said, I hope you have a great time and enjoy the game tonight. And I'll be watching. I'll be honest, I'm more nervous watching at home than I am in the stadium. When I'm at home, I can start yelling at the TV set and stuff like
Yeah,
that. But I find I'm more calm when I'm at the stadium than I'm at home. So I'm looking forward to it. And there's nothing better than beating Dallas. I have to say this before we wrap this up. Dallas sucks.
definitely.
Dallas
Go
sucks.
Birds. Dallas sucks.
Go Birds and go Leah, and continued success in your career. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah,
I will send you the full video, the audio, and I will edit the video into some clips as well. And I will tag you in on Facebook and Instagram as well.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate you, everybody. Shout out to everybody for watching, and go Birds.
Go Birds and go Leah. Thank you so much for coming on tonight, Leah.
You're welcome. Take care.
You
Bye-bye.
too. All right, everybody, that wraps up season 11, episode 36, overall 586. By the way, 586 is a special number tonight. Number 5, Donovan McNabb. Number 86 represents Zach Ertz, the former Eagles tight end. So I want to say thank you to Leah Cochran for coming on here tonight and talking about Philadelphia Eagles with us as well. By the way, a special announcement. My Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show scheduled for tomorrow night at 9 p.m. with Michelle Finnegan, a stand-up comedian out of Seattle, has been postponed due to a scheduling conflict. So in place of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, the Argo Bounce Podcast Show, Episode 10, a new show with Nick Small and myself tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Nick and I are going to break down the Argos' thrilling 35-33 win over Hamilton, and we're going to talk about their upcoming opponents, the Edmonton Elks, on Saturday, September 13th, 3 p.m. at BMO Field. The next Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, sponsored by BarryCullen.com, is going to be Monday, September 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern with my special guest, Nikki Skiles Baker. She is the founder and CEO of Superflyers LLC, a graphic design and digital art company. So please check out Nikki Styles Baker this Monday, 2 o'clock on Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. I do have a second show on Monday, which is going to be pre-recorded with my guest, Margie Santos. She is a TV actor, an author, and an entrepreneur. And Margie Santos and I will be doing a show Monday at 5 o'clock, but it's going to be pre-recorded. So I will let you guys know when that episode airs as well. So again, check out the Argo Bounce Podcast Show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 on the West Coast, with Nick Small and myself. And Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show returns this Monday, 2 o'clock with Nikki Styles Baker, and then 5 o'clock with Margie Santos, which that show will be pre-recorded, and I will let you guys know when that airs as well. And again, I want to say thank you to Leah Cochran for coming on here tonight as well. And before we wrap up this show, guys, as always, 2025 Track LT, finance from 0.99% interest for 60 months plus a Costco warehouse bonus card of $1,200 for eligible Costco executive members. For non-executive members, it's $1,000. More details at barrycullen.com or visit the dealership located at 905 Woodlawn Road West in the Guelph Auto Mall. Tell them that Chris Palme sent you. And again, Barry Cullen Chevrolet is the official sponsor of Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show. And again, guys, you can follow Leah Cochran on these social media sites. You can follow her on Facebook, Al Cochran. She's also on Instagram. You can follow her there, and she's on Threads as well. And before we wrap up the show, guys, the Cambridge District Humane Society at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, Ontario. Telephone number 519-623-7722, extension 0, or visit their website at cambridgehumanesociety.org. If you're looking to adopt a pet, check out the Cambridge District Humane Society. All the animals' profiles are on cambridgehumanesociety.org, and right now they're currently looking for dog food, cat litter, bedding, paper towels, and garbage bags. The Cambridge District Humane Society also has an Amazon wish list. If you go on the Cambridge Humane Society website or their social media sites, you should be able to click onto their Amazon wish list as well. And they do a wonderful job down there with getting homeless animals, into good homes with good families as well. And I'm a volunteer down there twice a week. So a shout out to the staff at the Cambridge District Humane Society as well. And if you want to pop by and drop off a donation, cash donation or food donation, they're located at 1650 Dunbar Road in Cambridge, right across from the Cambridge Mall there as well. Live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, again, is live streamed on these platforms: YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, X, Twitch, LinkedIn, and now available on Instagram. And fingers crossed one day, StreamYard will partner up with TikTok and I can have this show broadcast on TikTok as well. And speaking of TikTok, make sure you follow me and like my content on TikTok at Chris Palme on TikTok. Thank you to my 1,000 followers as well. And you can also follow my website at beacons.ai/Chris D. Palme. And that is about it. Before we wrap this up, live with CDP Sports and Entertainment Talk Show, the audio version is on these platforms: iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Pocket Cast, Spotify, Castbox, LinkedIn, Pandora, Tuned In, YouTube Music, and Good Pods. And please remember to follow me, subscribe, and share as well. And as well as my YouTube channel, Chris Palme, live with CDP Talk Show. Hit the subscribe, like, and share notification. And I want to say thank you to my 686 subscribers. And I'm now over 506,000 views on my YouTube channel as well. And that wraps it up, guys. I want to say thank you to my guest tonight, Leah Cochran, on a lifelong super fan of the Philadelphia Eagles, for coming on here tonight as well. And we got football tonight. Philadelphia Eagles, Dallas Cowboys, Dallas week, 8:20 kickoff on NBC from Lincoln Financial Field. The Eagles are going to be putting up their second Super Bowl banner tonight, and the Eagles are going to try to start off 1-0. And Leah Cochran had the Eagles winning 28-14 over Dallas, the same as Robbie Schneider. And I have the Eagles winning this game 34-24. I think Saquon Barkley is going to have another big game tonight, and I don't think the Cowboys defense will be the same without Micah Parsons, who is the heart and soul of their defense. So I think the Eagles are going to get off to a good start tonight, and it's so exciting to have the NFL back. And of course, the CFL the CFL right now is going into their stretch run towards the playoffs in October, and the Toronto Argonauts are 4-8, coming off a big win against Hamilton. Argos are on a bye week and will be back next week. So, guys, if you're a fan of the Toronto Argonauts, Canadian Football League, check out the Argo Bounce podcast show tomorrow night with me and Nick Small, 8 p.m., live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, as well as Apple Podcast, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Good Pods, and wherever podcasts are available. I hope everybody has a great evening. Enjoy the return of the National Football League. And as always, go Birds, fly Eagles, fly. And we'll see you here tomorrow night for the Argo Bounce podcast show with Nick Small and myself at 8 p.m. And live with CDP Sports Entertainment Talk Show, again, is brought to you by Barry Cullen Chevrolet Dealership here in Guelph. Good night, everybody. Go Birds.